Hi guys, my name is Mr. Gravy. Welcome back to another MLB The Show video. Today's video we are taking a look at what is Diamond Dynasty. This is a video definitely for somebody who is new to MLB The Show, doesn't know much about it, and is looking to maybe get into this whole thing called Diamond Dynasty, which is really just the big kind of ultimate team mode. If you came from Madden or any sort of NBA or anything like that, it's a big ultimate team card collecting mode. So I'll go through some of the basics on that and what you can expect from it, and then we'll do more and more breakdowns. So if you ever have any questions, you can always come visit me on stream. My stream is twitch.tv/MrGravy, 2 A's in Gravy. And you can always come by and ask any questions you might have. I am very newbie friendly, so please feel free to stop by, especially if you're from Xbox this year or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the very first thing you should know about Diamond Dynasty when you get into Diamond Dynasty is you're likely going to start at nothing, and so your ranked squad is not going to look like this at all. Neither will mine at the start of the year, but here's the idea, right? You want to be collecting the best possible team, and obviously there are tiers. You can see this like red diamond card, you can see this regular diamond card, and then you can actually see how it goes down from there to gold, silver, bronze, and of course common cards. So not a whole lot of need to go through what each individual tiers mean. It's pretty obvious, diamond cards being the best cards in the game. Okay, so just below me you're going to see two different kinds of rating factors. You're going to see diamond hitting here and gold defense for 99 Salvador Perez, and basically what you're looking at there is how they're going to perform in game. So the diamond hitting threshold typically requires above 80s contact on both sides. Gold defense pretty much means that he's averaging about anywhere between 80 to 83 or 84 total on his defense, and he'll play like that, and the shields in this game actually matter. So a diamond card on the field, when they're in the field, you'll see a little diamond marker underneath them, or you'll see a gold marker or silver, so on and so forth. Those have different animations per characters. So if you need a more extensive breakdown, I do have a fielding breakdown in my mechanical breakdown playlist, so make sure you go check that out. The way attributes actually impact cards is a little interesting. It's different from previous years, but if you're a new player, that doesn't really matter to you. Contact and power ratings combined help increase the size of your plate coverage indicator, which is otherwise known as the PCI. The bigger the PCI, typically speaking, the easier it is to make hard contact. That's not always the case, and some people are going to do better with smaller PCIs, but for the most part, a large PCI makes it easier to hit. Diamond Dynasty is a mode that is diverse in the way you can play this. So when you play a game, you'll have a multitude of different divisions and kind of tiers, if you will. Spring training being the lowest tier, it's on the lower difficulty. I think this is veteran. Regular season is veteran, and then after veteran, you get into the difficulty of all-star. All-star, pennant race, wild card are all-star game modes, and what that means is the hitting's a little bit easier, but it's a step up from the other hitting modes. And you get rewards from here. So in this case, the pennant reward race late in the year is really good, but as you can see, we go down the line here, and this is the early part of the year. They were just golds, and then it kind of came into some diamonds, and then the higher diamonds started showing up as you got further in. So if you're at least able to make pennant race, you should be able to get a couple of good cards throughout the year, which is really nice. The ultimate goal is to hit World Series. World Series cards are typically speaking the best cards in the game at the time. So when the game first came out, it was these three cards. This was the best hitting catcher. He was a switch hitting catcher with really good defense, as you can see, diamond on both sides. And so that's how that works. So as the year goes on, they add better and better players in World Series. Of course, these cards, because of that, get extremely expensive as time goes on. So Willie Mays, for example, who I did not hit well with, is going for 1 million stubs right now, and there's hundreds and hundreds of orders, but you won't see a log jam like that until close to the end of the year, so not a whole lot to worry there. There are other game modes in Diamond Dynasty which can help you make money. There's a battle royale mode, which is essentially where you draft a team. You will draft a full team with some restrictions and limitations. In this case, you'll find that there are a set number of diamonds you can pick. It's usually about 2 to 3. There's a couple of golds you'll be able to pick, around 3 to 4, and then like 3 or 4 silvers, and so on and so forth. So there's different tiers, and every year they usually tweak it a little bit differently. So I don't want to say in one way or the other what it's going to be, but that's what that is. And if you make 12 and 0, you'll get something called a 12 and 0 battle royale pack, where you can, once again, just like World Series packs, find some of the best cards in the game right there. So if you're able to go 12 and 0, it's worth it. Even if you're able to go 12 and 1, it's worth it, because on the 12 win, you're going to get a 90 plus diamond overall. And you can see if I get my 12th win here, I will be getting Trevor Bauer as the victory reward. Now, at this point in the year, Trevor Bauer not worth nearly what he would have been early in the year, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. It's still a really cool card to have, so it'll be nice to grab him if we're able to win. Another thing they do throughout the year is something called events. But you can see here, there's a whole list of different things that they do, right, with events. Similar to BR, if you are able to go 12 and 0, you will get a diamond card reward. But it's a little bit different than BR, because you're able to use your own players, your own player cards that you own. So you just have to meet the restrictions. In this case, the maximum team overall is 99 overall. They are 3 inning games, and the difficulty is the hardest difficulty on Legend. And so that's significant, because being able to use your own players, I'll show you just real quick what that looks like. Being able to use your own players and setting up your own team is really cool. So I can set up my pitching staff however I feel comfortable. I can get my lineup to be whatever I feel comfortable, so on and so forth, right? And I'm able to put together the best possible team that I want on the field, and it allows me to have more control without nearly the same risk as Battle Royale, because every time you go into Battle Royale, you have to pay a stub fee of 1,000 stubs. But typically speaking, for events, you don't pay any stubs and you get rewards. There are cumulative rewards in event games, and in this case, you're going to see 25 wins would get you Alex Bregman. So you can go 3 and 2, like you can lose twice and reset your event. That's okay. It doesn't affect your ranked seasons record. You can go right back in and keep playing until you stack up your 25 total wins in order to get this Alex Bregman, or in other cases, different cards. So you might be thinking, well, I've got all these cards, or maybe you're not quite sure where to look for certain cards. Well, there's this really cool feature. Let's say I want to find a new center fielder. If you hit the square button on PlayStation or X button on the Xbox, you'll be able to pull up filters. And filters are really nice because you can search your player that you're looking for by name. You can search the kind of throwing hand they have, bad hand, team, whatever team they're on, the type of card they are. So it could be a flashback you're looking for, a legend, or anything like that. You'll be able to find them through there. You can find different types of series, such as a postseason card, home run derby, players league, whatever they are putting into the game, you'll be able to search for. And by doing so, you can toggle your filter, you can back out, and there we go. I've got 2 finest center fielders that I can choose from. This really narrows down what I've got. This is super useful later in the year when you have a lot of cards and you're looking for specific things. It can be really nice. Another big part of Diamond Dynasty is the programs. So programs are something they do all throughout the year. These are really nice. There are 2 different kinds of programs. Well, 3 different kinds of programs. There are featured programs, and the featured programs are the inning programs. So throughout the year, they start off with kind of lower tier rewards all the way up to higher tier rewards. And the way it works is you go through all of these earning something called stars, which you can see in the just above the showdown icon right here. It says 487 out of 1,000 stars. You will do things like missions. As you can see, they have a star reward on the right side of them. You can do challenges such as Conquest and other things in order to get those done as well. If you collect certain players, you will get more stars as well. That leads me right into player programs. So typically with every inning program, they release some player programs, and you can see right above this Hunter Pence right here, the 9th inning player program. So these give you stars towards the 9th inning And by collecting this card, you can then turn it in. You'll still get to keep the card. You can turn it in and then get extra stars in the 9th inning program. So that's how that would work in any other certain sense of the matter. So there's the Extreme and World Series. There are different kind of programs they'll put throughout the year to get you different cards. So like Lou Gehrig, this is an Extreme program. There were all sorts of really high-end cards, but Extreme program every year is extremely difficult. It's a very hard grind to go through, and really a lot of these programs are grindy, but these player programs, particularly when they're attached to the innings, usually aren't too bad. I mean, we're talking about an hour and a half, and that's going to be the typical grind. Another way to get program stars is there is the ability to do something called Showdowns. Showdowns are essentially you're able to earn stars by going through a set of challenges. There's an entry fee to each one of these. However, as you can see, if I were to start this, you'll start doing a draft very similar to BR. You'll go through an entire draft, and by the time you're done, you'll have a team ready to go. Okay, so here we are here, and you can see on the right side, each place has a reward. So if you're able to just do 1, 2, 3, 4, you've already made your money back. Here's 250 stubs, 350, 450, 550 stubs. So you've made your money back there. These are extremely profitable. And by the time you get to the end, you'll get another bonus sub, bonus 1,000 subs. In this case, you would have got a player pack as well. And you could get yourself a gold player. And early in the year, those kind of things really do add up, and they are absolutely worth doing. Showdowns in general are really good. Next thing we'll look at is Conquest. Conquest is like the board game. There's maps, different various maps, as you can see at the bottom part, all these map previews. And essentially, you're going to start in a place, and your goal is to overtake the entire map. Okay, and you have goals for each map. So you want to steal, in this case, you're going to steal, there's a turn phase called steal fans. You're going to steal 3 million fans. And after you do that, typically just playing and overtaking the rest of them will get you there. So you can go ahead and hop in here and overtake this whole map. You'll have to play games. You'll have to, at least at minimum on this map, play 4 games, because you're going to play 1 game to steal fans, and then you're going to play 1 game for each stronghold. In a typical sense, they are not too hard to do. As you can see, like right there, I just picked up a Balling as a habit pack, which is a really nice pack. It guarantees you a gold card, and it has a high chance to pull a diamond card. I pulled Mike Trout out of one of those packs earlier in MLB 20. So that's kind of how that works. Overall, you can just kind of have fun with what you're doing and have a grind that is customizable to you and your experience. And I think that's one of the coolest things about MLB The Show this year, and in the last couple of years, they've really allowed a lot of flexibility to get things done, which I think is really cool. I mentioned earlier these red diamonds. That's another player program as well. So some diamonds in this game are prestigiable, which means that they can be better than what they are now. A good example of that would be, let's take a look at Juan Soto. Juan Soto, you do a set of challenges, which are all online based, unfortunately. So you do have to use this card online. You can do it in events or Battle Royale if you're lucky enough to draft the card, or ranked seasons. So you go through all this. You have to get so many hits, so many extra base hits, so many RBIs, so many runs, and so many at-bats. That will unlock this Juan Soto, which is basically the same card as the other non-prestige Juan Soto, except every stat across the board takes a -3 hits. So by prestiging the card, every single stat on the card goes up by 3 points. So that can actually make or break some cards in this game. So something to keep in mind. I know this is a lot of stuff and I'm going through it quickly, but this is kind of a reference point for you. There's a lot going on here. And like I said, if you get confused, hop into my stream. I'm happy to explain everything in detail. I will have a YouTube series coming up called The Dynasty, where I will be taking a fresh account and walking it all the way through Diamond Dynasty, the grinds, everything to get a World Series ready team, and then take on players online in order to make World Series. So we will have it'll be the ultimate tutorial guide. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because that way you'll be able to see that whole journey and stay up to date with how you can play this new Diamond Dynasty in the most efficient way possible. So that's what we're looking to do. Basically that covers all the programs and all the different game modes. There's one other thing though, and that's collections. It's a big part of the game. So every year there's a live series collection, and for a long time, not all year, but for a very long time, usually up until the last 2 or 3 months of the year, this card that you get for completing the live series collection is usually speaking the best card in the game, and now it is considered prestigeable. All 3 of these cards are prestigeable. Here's the way it works. So from a basic sense, what you're going to do is collect all the cards to every team, all the live series cards. Now, one thing to note, throughout the year, as guys get called up from the minors, they will add them into this game. So you will find instances where if you haven't fully collected a team and a new guy gets called up, he'll get added to the collection, and you'll have to get that card in order to finish the collection. So in this case, I have the Dodgers here, and I collected Mookie Betts. Now, by collecting cards, you lock them in permanently. So after buying this card, I can no longer sell it. You can see the no sell banner next to it. I can't sell the card anymore. But that being said, I am able to get the reward. And by completing the Dodgers, I get this really nice Mike Piazza, who was pretty viable earlier in the year. Unfortunately, now not so much. As you complete teams in a certain division, you will unlock the division rewards. So let's say I finish all of the National East cards, then I'm going to come over here, excuse me, let's say I complete all of the National League West cards. I get the Mike Piazza, I get the Steve Finley, I get the Luis Gonzalez, Ottavino, and Matt Williams. I can collect all of these cards, which are the rewards from each team in the NL West, and I can get this really nice Western card, which in this case is Tony Gwynn. You can see doesn't have a lot of power, but 100+ contact on both sides. He's super fast, has amazing fielding. This was a card that early in the year was really good. So it's worth doing these collections if you can, and the best way to do the collections are to stay in one division at a time. So like you would want to complete Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks first. Then you could move to the NL Central and do Cardinals, Pirates, Brewers, Reds, and Cubs to keep going all the way through. Once you've done that and you've completed an entire league and you've completed the National League, in this case, you can take the National League 3 big cards, which for the Central was Willie Stargell, for the East was Mike Schmidt, and for the West was Tony Gwynn, and you can collect an ultimate card. So when you complete a league, you get one of the best cards in the game. This card is still usable to this point in the year, and we are almost done with this year. It's Gary Sheffield, as you can see, just insane hitting stats. His defense is a little lackluster, but you can stick him at third base and that defense won't even be a problem. This is really a wonderful thing you can do for your team. It really sets you up for the future, for your club and for your Diamond Dynasty team. So it's really nice. If you complete all of the AL, you would have got this Craig Biggio, who is an all-around really well-rounded player, but the big key to this Craig Biggio is he's also able to catch, and for a long time there were not a lot of good catchers in this game, so this was a really nice card to have. So once you've completed the NL and the AL, you can collect both of those cards and unlock none other than Mickey Mantle. Now next year it'll be different. There will be a different NL, a different AL, and a different MLB collection. But you can see this Mickey Mantle, we're talking a switch hitting center fielder who is just dominant on both the left and right side. Where he's lacking in power on the left, he makes up for in contact. He's got incredible fielding and super good speed. So this was a wonderful card to have. It's still a good card to have. I still see him on all the God squads all of the time. And so overall, collections are absolutely worth your time. So in order not to get this video too long, I'll just quickly go over some of the other stuff they did this year. They did a super collection is what I call it. It was the Mike Trout collection. You had to do a ton to get this card, and it was very difficult. You had to collect all of the home run derby cards, which was incredibly expensive. You had to do the Blake Snell program. There were a bunch of things you had to do. You had to collect so many rookie cards, so many breakout cards, so many signatures. You can see all these different types of cards that you have to collect, and once you collect them, you will get this flyer. You were able to use that flyer on this Mike Trout, and this Mike Trout, I think to this day, is probably the second or third best card in the entire game right now in MLB The Show. So absolutely worth your time to do. And when you prestige him, his contact versus left goes to 100, his power versus left goes to 115, contact versus right goes to 119, and everything else goes up +3. So it's a really dominating card to have. So from a basic standpoint, that's how that works. New to Diamond Dynasty, a section called Team Affinity, and what it means is basically being a fan of the team helps you get better cards. And by fan, what I basically mean is grinding out the teams. So there's a few ways to do this. There's a Conquest, and you can see, similar to the inning programs, I get 30 cardinal points for doing this Conquest. I get all these points, which these are repeatable for online plays. I get 2 and 5 respectively there, and as I go through, I will get more points all the way throughout. And then there's the exchange. The exchange is probably the easiest way to get it done. However, it's extremely expensive to do the exchange, but by doing the exchange, which is repeatable, you can buy cards off the market, trade them into the team that you want to unlock rewards. Usually speaking, in the beginning of the year, you're talking 80 to 100,000 stubs, which is really a lot at the beginning of the year to get the first tier diamond card. And for some cards, that's absolutely worth it, and in other cases, it's not. For like this Yadier Molina, I wouldn't have said it's worth it to start the year with him. But that being said, as the year goes on, they unlock more and more stuff. This second tier was Nolan Gorman. The third tier was Lou Brock. And then finally, they had the finest at the end of the year for the Giovanni Gallegos card, which I thought was pretty good. And as you go through, you'll get even more rewards. So that's how Team Affinity works. Last thing to mention is the XP reward path. As you go through the XP reward path, you can see above me, I am a prestige level 84, but I started at bronze 1. With each level as you go through, you will unlock rewards, and typically you will end up with a high diamond player. These are usually, for a while, the pitcher especially. In this case, it was Corey Kluber. The pitcher especially, usually one of the best pitchers in the game for a long time, and in this case, he's still one of the best pitchers in the game. Regardless of what you think, this card is one of the best pitching cards in the entire game. So you're definitely going to want to focus on getting XP, but there's not a whole lot to sweat with that. There's no secret tips to getting a ton of XP. Yes, you might be able to find exploits, but for the most part, it's not worth your time to do exploits. At the end of every level, you will get one of these high diamond 99 cards. None of these cards, unfortunately, are actually usable anymore. And by usable, I mean you're not going to see them on God Squads any longer, but they were for a long time, particularly this Posey and Sandberg were on there for a while. But overall, the best way to get XP is to do those grinds, to do those challenges, to do the team affinities, and to do the programs. It's the best way to grind. There's a lot of stuff to do. I know this video was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but again, if you have any questions, come hop in the stream anytime. I will be happy to answer or walk them through, and be sure to check out the Dynasty series that will be coming through this year. Each episode will be about 45 minutes to an hour, and they will keep going until we make World Series in that year. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like this video if it helped you in any way, shape, or form, and for now, happy hitting.